This is my presentation for educators that covers several different topics on whether or not students should use AI writers, the problems and the benefits that are available in AI writing software here in the United States. First, we need to know exactly what AI writers do. They promise a lot, but do they deliver? AI writers can help choose titles for essays and other papers, chapter titles, subtitle sections in an essay or a thesis. They can make suggestions in those areas that aren't very helpful and may not help if your brain feels stuck. And that also goes with the content, the summary that it returns based on the question that you asked it. All AI writers collect their information from online publications, articles, blogs, online professional journals that are open access, web pages, newspapers that aren't behind a firewall. And it does this from 1997 up through 2004. The problem there is it does not filter out information that has been debunked. The prime example of that is the Bering Strait theory that Native Americans came here across a land bridge that used to exist across the Bering Strait. That has been completely and thoroughly debunked for about 15 years. Your AI writer is not going to filter information like that out. The last point there is the biggest concern. So let's take a look at it again. What other problems might be found in this issue and the fact that it doesn't filter out debunked information? Are the problems functional, legal, or something else? Functional issues can be like the one that we see here. All AI writers vary in the writing level that they use to return information. ChatGPT writes at a 5th grade level. Grammarly writes at an 11th to 12th grade level. You may get content with grammar errors or punctuation errors like we see here. And for college students, this content is not high enough quality. It's just not scholarly content that these AI writers return. None of them write at college level. None of the United States ones do. We can see the problems here if a comma for listing, for doing lists is left out. This is a contextual error in punctuation, and no AI writer is going to catch that. Legal issues. There are no United States AI writing software that can cite their sources. It is simply not written into the coding. It may give you one if you ask for it, but two things are going to happen. The link goes to an unrelated site or it goes absolutely nowhere. This is plagiarism. We cannot allow our students to commit plagiarism, right? And if particularly ChatGPT, if it doesn't know the answer, it makes it up. This is a screenshot that I took from a live How to Use ChatGPT webinar. The person hosting the webinar asked ChatGPT to give a short biography summary on himself. This is what it came back with. And you can see I've redacted his personal information. But everything you see here in orange is completely, patently false. absolutely made up out of whole cloth. These are some pretty fundamental and serious errors that ChatGPT is insisting is true for this man. Now, there are also instances where people like lawyers have used ChatGPT and ended up losing their law license. That is not a topic we are going to cover here. I'm going to include that in a coffee chat that's coming up. Other issues. First of all, writing is not rocket science. It gets better with practice every single time. When students are taught the proper preparation for writing, writing from their lived experiences becomes easier. This is an example of some other writing mistakes that an AI writer won't catch, but will tank a student's grade. All AI writers and grammar check software does not understand context. We can see that here in this video. If you look at the word right above my cursor, it is spelled correctly. The context is, one would hope, completely and totally wrong, right? Someone proofed this before they sent it to the printer and did not see this as a mistake. The printer, it's not their responsibility to proofread the content that is sent to them. When they sent it back, no one caught it again, and someone with the Travel and Tourism Board for Kansas City went ahead and put this up in their window. This is quite an embarrassing contextual spelling mistake. And it's a spelling mistake because this word in this context, we sincerely hope is completely wrong. So where else does AI writing software fall short? No matter what our topic is, our students must write their papers from a point of scholarly evidence. This means they have to talk about data and facts. They need a descriptive narrative of the accomplishments, either in the literature that they're reviewing, the published study, it's not called a case study anymore. Now it's called a white paper. They need to include achievements, outcomes. They need to be able to do a careful analysis of this information. AI writing software is not going to be able to do this. It may be able to write pages and pages and pages of content, but it does not do it at a scholarly level. Aside from the fact that it's just straight up copied and pasted from other people's copyrighted material that it has found online. So how can we help our students? They need to be competent writers on their own. And Wikipedia is not allowed as a scholarly source, but they can use it as a summary. If they just want to read up a little bit more on their topic, that works fine. They can't cite it. However, if they're just wanting to read a little bit more and understand the parameters of the topic, this is really not an issue. We also need to encourage students to learn how to use more than one search engine and compare the results. Not all search engines return the same information. You can put the same keywords into Google, Start Page, DuckDuckGo, Bing, and I'm sure there are other ones. You're going to get a completely different set of returns for each of those search engines. Some of them have better summaries on the topic when they return it than others. Those little short descriptions in the results that are returned, students need to look at what kind of language those summaries are using to describe their topic. Are they oversimplified? Are they scholarly? They need to pay attention to these things. This is what helps students learn to mirror, don't copy. This is going to help them become a more competent writer when they mirror the scholarly language that they can see when they do this kind of exercise. This is going to help them be able to say how their lived experiences apply to the topic at hand. It doesn't make any difference if your students are writing on biology, on engineering, on energy, on transportation, on sales, on marketing, political science, a language, journalism. It makes absolutely no difference. Learning to look at these things and mirror but not copy is going to help them apply their lived experiences when they write their analyses. And this is where paraphrasing and mirroring begin. So the last point on these issues that I listed out at the beginning of this presentation is that we need to pay attention to vocabulary, the usage, and we need to encourage our students to acquire a wider variety of vocabulary. They should always be acquiring better quality words that they learn and can apply in their writing assignments. Are we teaching our students how to use the keywords that are found in their topic for the writing assignment effectively? Different words will solidify or destabilize what they are saying. If you, in this example that we see here, if you are having students write a paper in a Native American Studies class, and we're talking about archaeology or museums or something like that, these words all mean something slightly different. A lot of times they are used interchangeably, the artifacts, the object, and the antiquities, but that does not accurately describe what those items are. They are ceremonial items. They belong to someone. They belong to a tribe. They belong to a culture. The word artifact, object, or antiquity implies that it doesn't belong to anyone and it's okay to just pick it up and take it and go put it in some museum when that is not necessarily the case. That is not the end of the slideshow. Let me go back to the final slide here. I wanted to thank you for watching this presentation and remind you that communication is a human connection. It is the key to personal and career success. Every employer that is surveyed on LinkedIn every single year for the last 3 years has said the problem they have with fresh graduates in entry-level positions is that they do not have quality communication that includes the human connection. No ChatGPT, no Grammarly, no Gemini has that human connection in that written communication. And we need to be very, very careful how much we are allowing students to use that in the class. And we also need to be very careful about making sure that we're aware of what those types of writing software look like in case a student tries to pass it off as their own work. I am going to cover that in the coffee chat, where I'm going to talk about the career ending ramifications of using something like ChatGPT. So please look for that coffee chat coming up. And I would love to read your comments here in the chat below here on this video about any I was going to say episodes, any instances of issues with using AI writing software that you have had in your class.